we're being told that we're unfit to work, unfit for higher learning, unfit for higher living. It needs to come to an end. Remember, 1976, my parents were evicted like animals from Constantia, the only home they'd ever known. They were dumped on the Cape Flats. We seek a return.
Hello, my name is Donald. I'm filling in for Petrus, who's currently trying to escape from Cuba in a very small boat. This is Worldview, where we explore everyone's perspectives on all things that can broaden our worldview. Today we're talking with Fadiel Adams. Fadiel is the leader of the Cape Colored Congress. Fadiel, welcome to you on this very rainy Cape day.
It's a miserable Cape day, but we love it all the same. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
So Fadiel, we hear many stories of what happened in the Cape Flats, but I think you are one of the best persons to talk about because you represent many of these communities with your current party. Can you tell us how bad things are in terms of crime, drugs, security, electricity, water? How bad are things on the Cape Flats?
I think it's reached breaking point. The Cape Flats is not a pleasant place to live. As far as crime is concerned, nobody here allows their children outside. Nobody's sane. My children have never been outside of the gate without parental supervision. There's no way to live. If we want to talk violence, 3,500 young colored boys will die on the Cape Flats this year.
Wow.
It's an ongoing trend. No government intervention. Those are more dead bodies than in recognized war zones like Iraq and Afghanistan, and nobody says a thing. As far as unemployment is concerned, most of us are unemployed, systemically unemployed. Since government decided that colored people are not fit to work, the Cape Flats is not a pleasant place. There's no recreation, there's no opportunity, there's no education, there's no anything. So I think we've reached our breaking point. We pay the most expensive water in the country. We pay the most expensive electricity in the country. And these are neighborhoods that are grinding out an existence. These charges are punitive, they are unnecessary, they are illegal, and it's time somebody says something.
And they recently sent in the army. Did that help in any way?
They sent in an army, but it was the wrong army. We needed an army of doctors, of psychologists, of skills developers, of entrepreneurs, of teachers, of social workers. They sent more guns. It's a simple thing. The violence just flares up somewhere else. Sending in the army was a knee-jerk. It's a PR exercise. That's all it is. While they're exercising PR, the gang bosses are exercising their constitutional rights. And we die as a result. It's what it is.
And in terms of drugs, that's also, I believe, a huge problem in many of these areas, especially now with the gangs involved.
It's the only industry that thrives on the Cape Flats. It's a systemic thing. It's been happening since 1652. They've replaced the alcohol with drugs. It's no secret who brings the drugs in. It's no secret. It's no secret the protection these drug dealers get from the support from us, from our police services, and from politicians. There are no secrets there. It's been set up this way. This poison that they sell, these drug dealers might as well be subcontractors to the state. It's used to keep us down. It's used to ensure that the prisons remain full of us, that the mortuaries remain full of us. So yeah, that's the state of the Cape Flats in a nutshell.
Wow. So now you founded the Cape Colored Congress, I believe. How does the Cape Colored Congress seek to rectify these problems? Can it be described? How can it be described as a center party, a left party, a right party? What is the aim of the Cape Colored Congress?
I'd say it's a center-left party, if you were to squeeze me for an answer, because the answers to our problems are not to be found on the left or the right. You know, both of them have contributions to make. The trick is to find the balance. I would describe us as a center-left party. At the Cape Colored Congress, founded out of frustration, born out of anger, because of what this government has done to colored people in particular. You must remember, that prior to 94, we fought this war to liberate this country. In 95, they stopped calling us comrade. They started calling us colored. We've accepted this label. We'll use this label. We'll use this label to make our communities better.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think colored people have been very marginalized by both apartheid and now by the ANC. But so it would be accurate to describe it as sort of a social democratic party, like there has to be
100%.
Okay. And
I think we found a new spokesman for the Cape Colored Congress.
Say again, sorry.
I think we found a new spokesman for the Cape Colored Congress.
Oh, thank you. So why do you support Cape independence?
I support independence, full stop. I believe that every province should spend its own taxes. I believe that every people should make its own laws. I think it's the best way to go. I think it's the only way to go. If you look at the South African context, what do we have? 9 official languages, 20-something tribes, a dozen religions. It's never going to work, no matter how we try. For all the goodwill in the country, in the world, nobody else has this type of problem. You can call it a mixed masala. You can call it a melting pot of cultures. The culture clashes are what is going to ruin us. We say, let every region make its own laws. Let them raise and spend their own taxes. Let them govern themselves. Let the Zulu speak for the Zulu. Let the Afrikaner speak for the Afrikaner. Let the Swana speak for the Swana. Let the colored speak for the colored. You know what's happening in South Africa right now? Look at the demographics of every council. Look at the demographics of the National Assembly. Only 2 race groups are speaking here. Everybody else is sitting on the sideline. It's untenable. It can't work. I have a Helen Zille or a J.B. Smith going out to bat for my children, but they don't live in my area. They do not understand my struggle. They don't walk past the dead bodies. They are not forced inside at 8 o'clock because the drug dealer has imposed the curfew. Yet these are the people spending the budgets which affect our lives. These are the people making the bylaws that affect our lives. But these bylaws and budgets are spent and made for the benefit of the suburbs where they live. It can't work. 27 years later, what has changed for me? What has changed for colored people? What has changed for poor black people? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people there hasn't changed much. In fact, if you look at the statistics, we've been steadily declining on the average median income over the last 10 years. But
if you look at the Human Rights Commission report of 2017, it will tell you that since the advent of Black economic empowerment, the colored community has gotten 40% poorer. Take that into account. That is not a slow decline. It's plummeted.
Yeah, okay. And so why do you think colored people vote for the Democratic Alliance? Is it because they don't see other representative for them? Why do they keep supporting the Democratic Alliance?
There's never been an alternative. There is now. No sane person should vote for the ANC. The African National Congress has shown that it cannot govern. 8 out of 9 provinces in this country have been burnt by the ANC. Look at the looting. Look at the mismanagement. Look at the corruption. It's a vote for the ANC is a vote for poverty. The DA at one point came across as a very, very viable alternative. But it's nothing more than a provincial version of the ANC. It's as corrupt. It's as nonchalant. It doesn't care about poor people any more than the ANC does. And this is why you see a host of small parties coming up, because people are well and truly hurtful.
So, just for interest's sake, when you say the DA is just as corrupt, can you give us some examples of that? And yeah, just pure curiosity.
In 2009, the CRU upgrades council residential units in the Cape Flats. National government gave a 600 million grant. 600 million. 54,000 grants. 54,000 flats were supposed to be refurbished. The project was given to what I suspect to be one of the funders of the DA, a company called Oricon. Only 5,000 flats were refurbished. The money disappeared. I've taken this issue up with the mayor. I've taken it up with the MEC for Human Settlements. I've taken it up with the Premier himself. The DA covers this company. That's one example. I can give you a dozen like it. I can tell you about the day when it was discovered that a gang boss, a prominent gang boss in the city of Cape Town, was handling a security contract by the city of Cape Town. It's a contravention of the poker law. Our alderman for safety and security, one Mr. J.P. Smith, knew about it. He never reported it. Do you understand what this means? That my tax monies are being spent on gang bosses. Do you know what a gang boss does with millions? He opens a drug franchise. He buys bigger guns. He recruits our sons with our tax monies. This is the DA. It's as corrupt, it's as rotten, it's as useless as the ANC is, just on a provincial level.
And have you taken this to court?
As soon as we have the resources, we are taking this to court. You have to understand that as an entity, colored people own nothing in this country. Nothing. Money, we don't have. We'll be going into this election without money, on a principle. Everybody says it's madness, that we are on a hiding to nothing. We like our chances. We've been the underdogs. Since Vasco da Gama got off the boat, we're comfortable in that position.
And yeah, just I forgot to ask this question, but what is the general opinion amongst colored people for Cape independence? Is it something? Is it difficult to sell to them, or is it just naturally something they immediately agree with?
You can't sell a 10-year. You can't sell a 10-year ideology to a man who's looking for food today. You can't. I think the goodwill is there. Is it actionable in the short term? I don't think so. I think the will for Cape independence is there. But while our people are scrounging for the next meal, it becomes hard to stop him, to take 90 minutes of his time to explain to him the benefits of an independence which could conceivably happen 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Oh, okay. That's fascinating. No, I mean, I'm definitely hearing the other side now here. And so you say, obviously, now that the DA is corrupt, but how will the Cape Colored Congress try to chip away at their majority and take away colored votes from them?
It's a done deal. We will hold the balance of power in the city of Cape Town next year. We will hold the DA to account on everything. You must look at the bigger scenario. To the DA is nothing more than a money laundering machine. 65 billion rand year on year. That's the size of the budget for the city of Cape Town. You don't see that money being spent in my area. When they do spend it in my area, who's the contractor? One of the besties of the Democratic Alliance. Suitably qualified colored contractors, they're at home. Or they're working for the big contractor earning nothing. That's how it works. You must understand that there's a company called Power Construction, who are also suspected to be a benefactor of the DA, that builds RDP housing in 99% of municipalities that the DA govern. One contractor, the same contractor. The tender has never come up for review. Look at CCICT, the security contractor in the CBD. 20 years as the security contractor, never come up for review. It's all about favoritism, and it's all about economic empowerment to people that happen to look like you. People that look like me are pushed out the door. The CCC is coming to kick down that door to ensure that more of our people become successful so that they can turn around and empower the communities they come from. That will be the only condition.
Why do you think this hasn't gotten more attention? Do you think there's some sort of a collusion with media as well, with journalists who are oftentimes so eager to take on the ANC? Why don't they take on the Democratic Alliance and these?
I've said it a million times. Who controls the media? the funders of the Democratic Alliance. You know, Helen Ziller would actually have to slit her husband's throat before bad press runs in the newspaper for more than a day. It's just how it is. It's what it is. You have to understand that the Democratic Alliance is nothing more than an extension of the National Party. And they've been playing this game for a lot longer than anyone else. So the narrative that the public see is the one they want the public to see. You will notice that certain tabloids don't ever run a negative thing about the DA. And if you look at the adverts, you'll understand why. It's how my tax money is abused. Because the DA simply runs a 1-week advertising campaign in the newspaper under the guise of the City of Cape Town. And the editor's got to make a decision. Do I post this and lose advertising revenue? Or do I act as if it doesn't happen and make the bottom line look better? That's how it works. This is why social media is so important to us. This is why the community activism that we endorse and we love doing is so important to us, because irrespective of what the newspapers say, I come to your house with proof. This is what the actual truth is. And this is the part that the DA can't stand, because you must understand that these people don't have branches. We've got more branches than they do in the City of Cape Town. They don't have membership. But what they do have is a marketing machine that will rival Coca-Cola. And they're good at it. We have to give them the due. But we are coming at them. And while they can spin, and while they can spend, we're only coming to tell our truth. And our people are listening. Our people are listening. And our people are saying, yes, enough. And that must be scaring me.
On the issue of spin, I think the Democratic Alliance panicked quite a bit in 2019. And all of a sudden, we saw these slogans, vote for the Democratic Alliance to stop an ANC-EFF coalition. And I think that was a fear tactic to keep them in power in the Western Cape. Is that something that resonates with colored people? Is a fear for the ANC and the EFF, or a possible coalition between them?
Yes, it is a real fear. A coalition between the EFF and the ANC will be the end of this country. Sadly, the colored people still suffer from that well-worn tactic of the National Party called swart gevaar. The DA merely point at the ANC and colored people come back into the lager. The Cape Colored Congress is here to tell the colored people that, you know what, our enemies are not to be found among racial lines. Our enemies now are to be found amongst economic lines, across zip codes, area codes, Model C schooling and that type of thing. That's where you find your enemy. The black man is not your enemy. The white man is not your enemy. It is the thinking that is your enemy. You see, when I have 1 million people coming from the Eastern Cape, each one of them grabbing a plot, each one of them looking to grab a house, to grab a job, and it negatively impacts an entire people, the average mindset will automatically look and reference that person as an enemy, because we're competing for the same resources. And the DA thrives on that. It's the reason they allow these land invasions, because every one of these squatter camps that comes up, it builds a resentment in the colored community towards black people and brings them home to the lager. Colored people are tired of being the war between white and black. We're going to stand up for ourselves.
So, let's play now a hypothetical game, and let's say, okay, now in the next local election, the DA falls below 50%. And there's the Cape Colour Congress. They are in a position to form a coalition with the DA. What would the Cape Colour Congress requirements of ultimatum be to the DA to join a coalition with them? Or would they even want to join a coalition with the DA?
I don't have a mandate to speak on a coalition with the DA, but I can give you an idea of what we want. We want demographic representation. If colored people are to be 50% of the province, we need to see 50% of us in work, 50% of us in management, 50% of us in housing, 50% of us in law enforcement. That's where this conversation starts. You see, in the city of Cape Town, 60% white males as management, yet white males make up less than 4% of the population. There's something very wrong with that demographic. That when you walk into the city center, you're more likely to find an elephant than a colored being employed. That's got to change. So when we come into council, we'll be playing hardball, but it'll be shareable. Remember, there's a constitutional court ruling that says that you cannot employ national demographics in the Western Cape because it would have a negative impact on the colored people. Both the DA and the ANC threw it out the window. They laughed at the constitutional court. We'll be coming to enforce that ruling. It's the only way our areas are going to get better. It's the only way our children are going to live longer. Understand that as a colored male, I have the lowest life expectancy in this country. That has got to change. And it's got to change quickly.
So, if I understand you correctly, would you be in favor of a sort of colored affirmative action?
100%, unashamedly, unapologetically. 27 years of rejection, of neglect, of marginalization. There has to be corrective action. There has to be corrective action.
And what is your opinion on Patricia de Lille?
I'll give you an honest one. Auntie Pat should go and enjoy a well-deserved retirement. I used to idolize the woman when she was with the PAC. However, you cannot have a different political ideology for every election. I remember one settler, one bullet. You know, I used to be hateful of white people too. I used to be. One settler, one bullet. That was a cry. And then she became this colored auntie with the ID. Then she became a white madam with the DA. And now she's turning back to the Africanists. It's confusing. I understand that she has popular support. She's Patricia de Lille. She has popular support. We can't wish it away. But her contribution to this country since she brought that arms deal report to Parliament, I think it's been negligible. And it might sound harsh, but it's what I see. You know, she's had 9 years as mayor of the city of Cape Town, and the biggest contribution to colored people was toilets for backyarders. Not land, not houses, not jobs, toilets in your backyard. We live like animals, and every time a colored is represented in power, they turn their backs on us. I could name all of them. I'm not going to, but I could name all of them. They know who they are. This is going to be different. The CCC comes into this election and goes into council unapologetic in its stance. Colored lives matter.
And what is your projections for the next election? How well do you think you're going to do?
If we get as little as 15% of the colored vote, the landscape in Cape Town will change. We went into the Delft election with no money. It took 30%. First try, no experience, no money, no resources. I think we can do it. If someone that shares our ideology or thinks that, look, you know what, colored people, you deserve a better shake, comes along, pump some money now into our election campaign, I can guarantee you that will be the end of the Democratic Alliance as you know it. Because once it loses Cape Town, they might as well close their doors nationally. And that's about to happen. I don't want to make a call because we haven't sat down with a proper analysis. That is due next week. But I think we'll do well enough. I think there's going to be a coalition government in the city of Cape Town. That's for sure. And I think it's necessary. We need to get rid of this MACO system which the DA brought in, because the MACO system excludes everyone else that has representation in council. The DA can take prime land and sell it for R5 if they want to, and nobody can say anything. We need an executive system where everyone is represented, where everyone's voice can be heard. It is unfair that in a city as diverse as this one particular group hold sway over everything. No consultation is needed. They just do as they want to. If they want to evict all of Woodstock tomorrow, they'll do it. They've known for doing it. You have to look at the Steenwiller case, which our attorneys are fighting right now, where people's subsidies were used to build a big complex, where land almost the size of Century City is leased to a woman from Scotland for 700 rand a year. But these people are being evicted because they can't pay extortionate rent. That's how the city runs. And it's how we suffer. And it needs to come to an abrupt end. We can't take 5 more years of this. I don't know if colored people in general are aware of it yet, but they won't survive 5 more years of DA rule.
Yeah. Wow, Fadiel, this has been a fascinating conversation, and thank you so much for your time. I want to give you one last opportunity to add, plug, or say anything that you want to.
If you love fairness, you will vote CCC. If you love justice, you will vote for the Cape Colored Congress. You see, you would never have heard of Fadiel Adams if my kids were given a fair opportunity. My son was denied varsity entrance despite having the grades because of the color of his skin. He's not the only one. Half the matriculants in this province happen to be colored. Less than 5% of them get taken into varsity. We are being told that we are unfit to work, unfit for higher learning, unfit for higher living. It needs to come to an end. Remember, 1976, my parents were evicted like animals from Constantia, the only home they'd ever known. They were dumped on the Cape Flats. We seek a return. I'm not here to throw a white man out of his house. It's not why I get up in the morning. We want integration. We want to live together, irrespective of color, race, creed, culture. We want to live together. These white enclaves, these colored ghettos, these black townships, they must come to an end. And only the Cape Colored Congress is prepared to bring it. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us the airtime.
No problem. Well, thank you, Fadiel. That's a very powerful message there, folks. And if you liked our content, please share this video as widely as possible and subscribe to our YouTube channel. My name is Donald, and this has been Worldview.